my name is Kat, and I have a lot of books to read, so today I wanted to share what's at the top of my TBR. We're going to kick things off with the book I am currently reading, which is Eragon by Christopher Paolini. This is the Booksplosion Book of the Month pick for January. We're working with Penguin Random House on this one. For those of you unfamiliar with Booksplosion, it is an online book club hosted by me, Christine, and Jesse. Every month we all read a book together, and at the end of the month we have a live show discussing the book in spoilery detail. I'll go ahead and put all of the info down below, as well as the links to the Booksplosion channel and Twitter and Instagram. So yeah, our January pick is Eragon, and I am really excited about this because I know this is like a beloved childhood book for many, but this is my first time reading it. This is the first book in a fantasy series that follows a teenage boy named Eragon who finds this mysterious rock. But it turns out it's not a rock, it's a dragon egg. Then the egg hatches, and Eragon is bonded to this dragon named Saphira. It's a high fantasy story full of adventure and magic and dragons, or really just one dragon. And so far, I am particularly loving all of the dragon mythology. Like, I think it's really cool. I really want a dragon. By the time this video goes up, I believe the live show will have already happened, so I will link that down below. But yeah, I am really excited to finish reading this and discuss all of the things in the live show. I also have here The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm by Christopher Paolini. This is a new book that just came out about a month ago, and it's a collection of 3 short stories set in the world of Eragon. And I believe these stories do take place after the Inheritance series, so you probably want to read those books first. But if you read and loved the Inheritance series, then this is probably something you want to check out. The next book I have here is Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen M. McManus. This is from the same author who wrote One of Us is Lying, which was a very popular book last year. And this is another contemporary standalone thriller, kind of along similar lines. Basically, this is about a teenage girl named Ellery who moves to this small town where girls seem to keep going missing. Ellery's aunt went missing from this town at age 17, and 5 years ago, a homecoming queen was murdered, and that kind of put the town on the map. And not long after Ellery arrives, another teenage girl goes missing. So even though this town kind of seems picture perfect, obviously something dark is going on here, and there are a lot of secrets to be uncovered. So yeah, I am very much looking forward to reading this, and it will be happening soon because this is actually the Booksplosion Book of the Month pick for February. We're working with Penguin Random House on this one, and I will go ahead and put all of the read-along details down below if you want to join in. Next up, I have here a book that might take me all of February to get through, but I cannot wait to read The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This book actually doesn't come out until later in February, but the publisher actually sent me an unsolicited finished copy. Like, I didn't know this was coming. It just showed up at my house, and I may have screamed when I opened the box and saw what was inside. Now, from the synopsis of this book, I can't really tell what's going on. I know it is a standalone epic fantasy with dragons. I believe we are following 4 main characters that come from 2 different nations that have opposing opinions about dragons. I've heard that it is a very feminist fantasy world. Like, there aren't kingdoms in this book, there are only queendoms. And I've also heard that there is a female-female romance in this book. I know a couple people who have already finished this and loved it, and reading Eragon has really put me in like a dragon mood. So I cannot wait to get to this as soon as I finish Eragon. The next 4 books that I have here are ones that I picked up for a very specific reason. The 2019 Printz Winner and Honors books were recently announced, and much like last year, I am adding them all into my TBR, and I want to read them all. So first up, I have here the winner of the Printz Award, which is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This book has been on my radar for a while because I have heard nothing but good things about it. It's about a teenage girl named Xiomara Batista who writes poems and wants to join her school's slam poetry club, but her mother is very against that. This book is told in verse, so even though it's about 300 pages, I believe the audiobook is only like 3 hours, and the author actually reads it herself. Elizabeth Acevedo is a spoken word poet, so I might actually listen to that because I'm sure it's an amazing experience to hear her deliver her own words. Next up, I have here A Heart in a Body in the World by Deb Coletti, and this is one of the 3 books that won a Printz honor. It's about a teenage girl who is running from Seattle to Washington, D.C. as a way to kind of cope with a recent trauma. Her grandfather and brother are following behind her in an RV, and they kind of become her publicity team as she becomes a reluctant activist, as more and more people find out like what she's doing and why she's doing it. Now, this is not a book that I would probably pick up on my own because I tend not to gravitate toward the more serious contemporaries, but it won a Printz honor, and I have heard some amazing things about it, so I want to give it a try. Then I have here Damsel by Elena K. Arnold. This is another book that I had heard some things about, but it didn't really stand out enough to grab my attention in the sea of all the other 2018 fall releases. But then it won a Printz honor, and I was like, okay, maybe I do want to buy this and read it. This is about a teenage girl who wakes up in the arms of a prince who is telling her that he is rescuing her from this dragon's lair, and he whisks her away to his kingdom to be his bride. But she has no memories of her life before the prince rescued her. Like, she is just going by what he's telling her. But as she adjusts to this new life in this kingdom, she starts to discover that there's more to the legends of dragons and damsels than anyone knew. So yeah, that sounds really intriguing. Like, I'm still not sure what exactly to expect from this, but I am definitely interested in reading it and checking it out. The final Printz honor book that I have here is I, Claudia by Mary McCoy. This book just came out a couple months ago in October, I believe. And before it won a Printz honor, I literally had never heard of it. So yeah, I was pretty surprised because like I consider myself pretty well versed in YA releases, and the fact that I'd never heard of it before actually really intrigued me. Like, what is this book that I've never heard of but that won a Printz honor? Basically, it's like a dark academia novel that is based loosely on I, Claudius, which I am not familiar with. But yeah, it's like a political thriller about power that takes place at this elite academy. And that sounds really interesting. I'm really intrigued by this book. So yeah, these are the books at the top of my current TBR, the ones I'm going to be trying to make my way through in the next month or so here. Oh boy. Kind of an interesting TBR for me because all but one of these authors are new to me. And I do tend to gravitate toward authors I already know I like. So yeah, a lot of new to me authors in this TBR stack here. All right, that is it. Those are all of the books at the top of my current TBR, and that is gonna do it for this video today. I would love to hear from you guys, especially if you have read any of these books. Let me know your thoughts on them. But yeah, that is it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I will have another video up soon. So I will see you then. Bye!